right, shalom, shalom.
Shalom.
We're the Hebrew Israelites from the Kingdom GMS Cleveland. And before we get started, we give all praise and the glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Makakadash, the honest apostles and elders of Great Millstone, who well, and peace and blessings to the hopeful elect that preach the truth sincerely across the four corners of the earth. This is another lesson through the Spirit of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Lord, one of this lesson be edifying to the hopeful elect. The name of this lesson is Spiritual Powers is Coming. And that's something that's going to be happening on this side. Actually, brothers already have spiritual powers, man, because to have this wisdom, knowledge, understanding, that's spiritual powers in itself, man, on a low level. But spiritual power is going to come in a big way. That's actually the top of that's a subtitle for this video. Spiritual power is coming in a big way, man. It's going to be men physically doing things that men in the scriptures from thousands of years ago used to do, like heal people, walk on water, fly, you know, etc. Man, the teleport, these things is going to be happening, you know, in real life, man. Before Yahweh Shah comes back, before the destruction of America takes place, man. You know, and all of this is going to be happening, what, to show the glory of Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shah, man, because the Lord is going to get his glory back through his men, you know, through the different miracles, through the different things that the Lord is going to show, man, you know. And the Lord had Elijah rain fire from heaven. He had Moses split the Red Sea. These things is going to happen again, but it's going to be even greater things than those things happening, man. You know, but yeah, you got it.
Yeah. This is Isaiah 59 and verse 19, and it reads, "So shall they fear the name of the Lord from the west."
And actually, before you grab I'm gonna grab this real quick. This is the book of Hebrews, chapter 11. Verse 6, it says, "But without faith it is impossible to please him, for he that cometh to the Most High must believe that he is, and that he is a rewarder of them that diligently seek him." So you have to have faith and believe these things are going to take place, and believe that you are able to do these things, man. Like the people who Yahweh Shah healed, they had to have faith that Yahweh Shah was able to heal them, or they wasn't going to get healed. So you have to have faith in these things that are written that's about to take place, and that the Lord is able to deliver you. Because one of the main ways that the Lord is going to be delivering brothers out of situations is by spiritual power. You gotta think about it. The Lord's about to deliver a multitude which no man can number. You know, um, out of destruction. So it's gonna have to be spiritual power activity going on, in order to receive that deliverance, man. But yeah, you got it.
Yeah. Isaiah 59 and 19, "So shall they fear the name of the Lord Yahweh Shah from the west, and his glory from the rising of the sun."
So from the east and from the west, because the sun rises on the east. So from the east, from the west, people is going to fear the name of the Lord. The glory of the Lord shall be out throughout the earth, man. And one of the ways the Lord's name and his glory is going to be spread throughout the earth is by giving men spiritual powers, man. You know.
And ultimately seeing our deliverance too. Because remember when we were delivered out of Egypt, the fame of the Lord went out throughout the whole, earth. Roughly paraphrased, because they was like, wow, that's a fearful God. We need to get in order. Yep. So it says, "So shall they fear the name of the Lord from the west, and his glory from the rising of the sun. when the enemy shall come in like a flood, the Spirit of the Lord shall lift up a standard against him.
I said the enemy coming like a flood. When is the enemy gonna come in at the like a flood? When it's martial law troops, UN troops out here, man. You know, on the corners of the streets, man. That's gonna be the enemy coming in like a flood, man. You know, but it said the spirit of the Lord shall lift up against him. You know, I mean, it's like it said the Lord shall lift up. No, the spirit of the Lord shall lift up a standard against him, and that standard is spiritual powers, man. So when the enemy coming like a flood, breaking, kicking people doors down, got big ass Dracos and AKs, machine guns, and robot dogs and all that shit. When all of that stuff is on the streets, the Spirit of the Lord is going to lift up a standard against all of that stuff, man. Because at the end of the day, those are devices of men. Those are devices of Brad, Esau. The Lord has stronger devices than that. The technology that Esau used today, the Lord was using that technology back in Egypt. You know, this is old technology that this devil was using, man. So the spiritual powers, which is on the right hand side, that's gonna triumph that without a heartbeat, man. You know, and you watch different movies like The Matrix, no, Neo, he put his hand out, and all the bullets just fall. You know, that's his brothers is gonna be able to do those type of things, but you have to have faith that you're gonna be able to that you can do those things, man. You know, um,
I have the scripture real quick because you know it says it's gonna come in like a flood. You know, it's Second Ezra 16:71. They shall be like madmen, sparing none, but still spoiling and destroying those that fear the Lord. So yeah, Esau Edom, he's gonna come down with great wrath, only because he knows that he have but a short time, and knowing that we are the true children of the Lord. So he's gonna be like what? A madman. He's not gonna be spared none, man. He's just gonna, be in a mindset of, make America great again. You know, we're gonna do what our leaders told us to do. And you already starting to see that how they doing the so-called immigrants now, man. Coming down on them. But how so much more for the tribes of Judah, the rest of the nation of Israel? Our time coming next, and we all going to be tried, but you got to have this faith. All right, the Lord is going to be able to have you escape these things, man, in order, to be delivered, And some going to be, martyrs, for Yahweh Shah, but the scripture says that they shall rise first and be forever with the Lord Yahweh Shah. Want me to read on?
Well, I got something.
Okay.
This is Zechariah chapter 12, verse 8. It say, in that day shall the Lord defend the inhabitants of Jerusalem. Right, so the Lord said that he's going to defend the inhabitants, man, of Jerusalem. And Jerusalem is a people before it's a place, man. So wherever the Israelites is at, that's where the Lord is going to defend them. Fight for them, man. And it say, and he that is feeble among them at that day shall be as David, and the house of David shall be as the Most High, as the angel of the Lord before them. Right? It says, so he that is feeble among them, man, meaning he that is weak among them shall be as David, man. And David was a mighty man of the Lord. Matter of fact, David has spiritual powers. Matter of fact, get where it talk about in Psalms how he jumped over walls. This is something that King David wrote about, man. How he was able to jump over high tower walls, city walls, and land on his feet and don't be hurt. You could jump out like we in the third floor. We had to jump out this window. You'll fucking break your ankle or some shit, man. But King David was able to jump over walls higher than this building and land perfectly fine. Why is that? How is that? Because the Lord was dealing with him, and he had a certain type of spirit on him to do that, man. But it said, he that is feeble shall be as David, man. You know. So hey, David was a mighty man.
Right.
Meaning what? The Lord is going to give you strength, and He's going to give you that spiritual power. And it said in the house of David, and we know the house of David is who? The elect shall be as an angel of the Most High. You know. So, no, it said the house of David shall be as the Most High, as the angel of the Lord before them. Right. So the Lord is going to put a spirit on His man to do things that is out of your average person mind for a human being to do. Remember, look at Samson, the strength that the Lord gave Samson. You know, but
Yeah,
you got that account.
Yep. This is Psalms 18 and verse 29, and it reads, "For by thee have I ran through a troop, and by my power, Yahweh Shah, have I leaped over a wall."
So he said he ran through a troop, he ran through an army, through the spirit of Yahweh Shah, the spirit that he put on him. And by his power, he had jumped over a wall. That's what it said.
Yep. It says again, it says, "For by thee have I run through a troop, and by my power have I leaped over a wall."
All right, he leaped over a wall. You know, a city wall. You know, that spiritual power is right there, man. So it said, in that day, you know, when the Lord defended the inhabitants of Jerusalem, he said, he that is feeble, he that is weak, shall be as David. So you don't even, so any times we come in there, you don't even have to worry about if you know combat or if you know how to lift heavy pounds. And it's good to learn those things, but you don't depend on that stuff, man. Because at the end of the day, the Lord put the Spirit on you, and you know how to do stuff 10,000 times more powerful than that. You know, because the Spirit of the Spirit of the Lord is in all things, man. You know, and the Lord's power is out of this world, man. More than this world can comprehend. You know, so you know and it's gonna be brothers doing stuff more powerful than that, jumping over walls and you know running through a troop, running through a whole army of Brad with guns, while Brad's shooting at a brother. He running through all the bullets, running through all through the whole fucking the SWAT team, man. You know, um,
I had some.
I had something too. This Isaiah chapter 40, verse 31. It say, "But they that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings as eagles. They shall run and not be weary, and they shall walk and not faint." So there it goes. It said, it said that they that wait upon the Lord. So those that trust in the Lord, those that have faith in the Lord, this is what's going to happen to them. It said that they shall mount up, they shall renew their strength, and they shall mount up with wings as eagles. Meaning they're going to be able to fly. So the Lord will put the Spirit on brothers to be able to fly. And all you gotta remember, all these things are gonna be happening in the flesh, in these weak ass bodies that we've been eating GMOs all our lives, drinking tap water. In these bodies, these things are gonna be taking place, man. You know, it said they shall run and not be weary. You know, they shall walk and not faint. They're not gonna get tired because that Spirit of the Lord is gonna be on them. You know, because hey, the Spirit of the Lord is more Christian. It's more powerful than all things, man. You know, so it don't matter how much pounds you can lift. It don't matter how much you could be running longer than Muhammad Ali. The Lord could put the Spirit on you to run longer than him, faster than them, and don't be tired. You know, hey, and these things is gonna be taking place, running like Flash, running faster than Flash, man. You know, flying higher than Superman. These things are going to be taking place before the deliverance and the destruction, man. You know, in the time where it's Jacob's trouble, in the time where it's the MOTB is mandatory, these things are going to be taking place, man. That this is this gonna be no time like other on the left hand side, but it's also gonna be no time like other on the right hand side too. And these type of things give us hope to keep going, man. Because this right here show you that the Lord is going to look out for you at, down the long run anyway, man. You know, through all the tribulation we going through now, it's worth going through because in the times we're coming in, you know, hey, the Lord is going to show His hand with you more than ever, man. You know, you have something.
Yep.
Go ahead. It's gonna be more made manifest, man. That's the word I'm looking for. It's gonna be more made manifest who the Lord is dealing with in the times that we coming
This is Psalms 18, and I'm reading the NLT. 18:33. It reads, "He makes me as sure-footed as a deer, enabling me to stand on mountain heights." So yeah, so Yahweh Shemel Shah had our people feet as swift and as quick as a deer. You already know how deer can prance and leap over things without any sort of effort. Like it just look effortless when you see a deer just jump or when it take off real fast, like a gazelle, for an example. That's when a fast ass animal, a cheetah, have a hard time catching sometimes. But it goes to show you that the Lord put spiritual powers on our people to be able to move quick as hell, leap over walls, so forth and so on. It said, He trains my hands for battle. He strengthened my arm to draw a bronze bow, right? And when you get to Deuteronomy 32 account, it say, how shall one chase 1,000 and two put 10,000 to flight, except their rock has sold them and the Lord has shut them up. But the point being, our rock is Yahweh Shemel. So I say, for their rock is not as our rock, even our enemies themselves being judges. So Yahweh Shemel Shah, or Yahweh Shah is that rock. All right, and with him being on our side, all right, we able to put, all right, 10,000 to flight, man. You know, one chasing 1,000, man. You know, that's mighty as hell, man. Remember how Saul came in, he killed his thousands, and King David hit tens of thousands, right? And you gotta, in order to do that or get that, you gotta be, you know, in the spirit, and the Lord gotta be dealing with you, man. And if you are, you know, that's a blessing, man. You know, but that goes to show you that, you know, when the Lord dealing with you, He give you these spiritual powers, man. But if you're, you know, going off like Samson did, you know, it was taken away. But you know, when he repented, you know, he was able to destroy those Philistines, man. And he had the strength of Yahweh Shemawashah, man.
in. You know, and just to add on to that, you got to picture that. It said one chasing 1,000. Picture chasing one person chasing 1,000, and
Right.
when the times we coming in where children gonna have guns and all type of weapons, robots and all type of stuff, and they getting chased away by one man, man.
Mm-hmm.
Show you that it's gonna be a power of spiritual power upon that man to through the spirit of Yahweh Shemel Shah to do that, man.
I gotta close it.
No, I got something too. This is oh yeah.
I bet you probably got what I got though.
What?
You got that Corinthians, don't you? Oh, okay, you got it. I'll hold that.
This is John 14 and 12. Verily, verily, I say unto you, he that believeth on me, the works that I do shall he do also, and greater works than these shall he do, because I go unto my Father. So there it goes. If you believe on Yahweh Shah, man, and all these works, you know that he do. You're gonna do even greater works, man. And Yahweh Shah, he did so many miracles that they are not even written in the scriptures, man. That's how much miracles he did, man. You know, and the scripture said that the elect is gonna do even greater works than what he did when he was on this side. And this is talking about on this side. This is not even talking about the kingdom. This is gonna be happening on this side. He turned water into wine. He turned. You know, that means he turned what? That means he had to turn one element into something else in order to manifest the wine. He had to turn one element to a whole another one. You know, he walked on water. He told the water the sea to calm down, and it calmed down. You know, he rose people from the dead. These are things that Yahweh Shah did, and scriptures say that we're gonna do greater miracles than those, man. You know, if we endure to the end, we believe on Yahweh Shah, man. You know, so these are excited times, man, because all the work, the labor we put in, it's true, it's gonna pay off, man.
Because, you know, even like going back in the time of the sons of God, you know, before they fell off, all right, they was already immortal. You know, they had that power. They knew what it felt like to have it. But just like even in that time, the sons of God, they fell off too, you know, and, and that's why we in the situation was to what? Conquer the whole state of, this whole spectrum of what? Good and evil. All right, and that's why I say death is swallowed up in victory. These chains of darkness, this body being subject to sin and this flesh, and once we get those new bodies, man, it's gonna be over with. We're gonna be, restored with the understanding, wisdom, and knowledge. All right.
And scriptures say, no, not scriptures. That's why the nation of Israel, Israel meaning what? Yasharala, he Prince Power, Prince of the Power, man. You know, that's what type of power that we serve. That's what type of power that created us, man. That has the power over all powers, man.
This 1 Corinthians 15 and verse 51, it says, "Behold, I will show you a mystery. We shall not all sleep, but we shall all be changed." So yeah, there you go. It said in the scripture, there shall be some that shall be standing here that's not going to taste death. Those who was created, being their elect. All right, they're going to basically, come into this world, all right, and live all the way until the time till the deliverance come, and they gonna receive, all right, the immortality, man. Okay, to get that reward, you know. And it says, in a moment, in the twinkling of an eye, at the last trump. What's that trump? The seven last plagues that the Lord is about to bring. We in that time right now where you start to see everything unfolding right before your eyes. It say, "For the trump shall sound, and the dead shall be rise first, incorruptible, Salakia, and we shall be changed." There you go, because I think that's in Second Thessalonians, where it talks about that the dead shall rise first when Yahweh Shah make his second return. So, what's going to happen? It says, "For the trumpet shall sound, and the dead shall be raised incorruptible, and we shall be changed. For this corruptible must put on incorruption, and this mortal must put on immortality." And when you read this in the NLT, it reads 52. It said it will happen in a moment, in the blink of an eye, real quick. It ain't gonna take a long time when we get these new bodies. Like we just gonna be like programmed. It's gonna take us a whole loading process like a damn iPhone. Hell no, it's gonna be real quick. Boom. It says when the last trumpet is blown. You see, for when the trumpet sound, those who have died will be raised to live forever, and we who are living will also be transformed, for our dying bodies must be transformed into bodies that will never die. Woo! Our mortal bodies must be transformed into immortal bodies. Woo, that's cold, bro. Like, the NLT be hit sometimes, though. A lot of times, most of the time, I'm like, but it was showing you that these everlasting chains of darkness is what these bodies that's subject to sin, subject to get sick, subject to get hurt, cut, shot, all these things. But when we get the new bodies, we're gonna be the new superheroes on the earth, man. You heard that song, Black Superman? Yeah, that's coming to pass. They gonna have real black, so-called black real men in authority, man. Starting with Yahweh Shah on down, man, which I cannot, wait, man, especially to see brothers, man, that was here on this side fighting for you, fighting for Yahweh Shah and fighting with you, side by side. It's a joke. But, It says, then when our dying bodies have been transformed into bodies that will never die, the scripture will be fulfilled. Death is swallowed up in victory. So yeah, there you go. Death is swallowed up in victory, which is these bodies, and they're gonna be transformed into, everlasting bodies, man. We're gonna get everything back in the fullness thereof, man. Whether it be having this world and lands and heathens as our handmaids and can't wait to get you heathen women, man. All you women, really, and get Brad, man, and kick his ass, man. For all this disrespect and all this turmoil you put our people in. It's time for a change, which is going to be set up and governed Yahweh Bashim al Kingdom with righteousness, man. Where corruption is going to be put away and righteousness is going to be at a full all-time high, Is that it?
So yeah, Lord, we're just satisfied with that. We'll close out giving all praise and glory to
Yeah.
Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Kakadash. Give honor to the apostle and elders of the great millstone, who well. Peace and blessings to the hopeful elect. Shalom and Kwame Sharab.